Hi guys, I'm needing a lot more care down, so unfortunately I can't film as much as I like due to my surgery, but I do have a special pick card for my subscribers, and this is for my subscribers only. I do a lot of prayer before I do this, believe it or don't, and I ask to be guided so that I pick cards that will be relevant and the message be relevant to my subscribers. So I've got three cards here, and this is, by the way, the Southern Botanic Oracle, a really beautiful deck, by the way, by Stacy Williams Ning, and you can see that these are based on plant life in the American South. Okay, so we have card number one. If you choose that one, which is a green leaf, got that charm. Okay. We have card number two, which is a glass kind of iridescent black cat. All right. And we have card number three, which is a key charm. All right. So think on those. Which one appeals? Make your choice, and we'll begin. Okay, if you chose the green leaf charm, which is so cute, we have, it turns out, two cards in one. Initially, I thought maybe I should put one back, but nope, I figure these are the messages that those that pick this card need, and they get a bonus card. So the first card you're getting is Spanish Moss, and it's all about self-expression and flow. All right. The next card you get with it as a bonus card is Watermelon, which is about responsibility and empathy. Now I'm going to share with you a bit what is shared in the book. So let's start with Spanish Moss, and I'll try and just park the camera with my hand there. Okay, Spanish Moss is about self-expression and flow. So this is what they write. Spanish moss is the hairy, pendulous plant that is often seen swaying beneath large trees in the coastal south. A singular presence, it has come to define our collective imagination of what the spookiest places are like, the Everglades in Florida or the Alabama swamps. The stuff is peculiar indeed, so weird that we never came up with a good name for it. After all, it is neither Spanish nor a moss. So Spanish moss is a bromelade, a tiny, oh boy, epiphyte that clings together while hanging from the limbs of trees, pulling nutrients from the air and rainfall. Okay, the rootless plant grows in a chain-like fashion, forming hanging beard-like structures. It basically goes with the flow, with fragments blowing in the wind to propagate or to become part of a bird's nest. The Spanish moss card is a signifier of wistful self-expression and flow. So once you're comfortable with who you really are, even if the world struggles to find a label for you, you are free to set your own rules and be beautiful in your own unique way. Follow your own wisdom and your own path towards self-determination. So this is about following your own path, like they said, and going with the flow, not resisting who you are or trying to fit into somebody else's box or label or structure. This is where you need to be able to be free to express yourself and your feelings from your hair down to how you laugh or so on and so forth. Be yourself and to be comfortable in being yourself and being flexible. So going with the flow isn't just about being lackadaisical. It is about being flexible and not taking yourself too seriously or not taking yourself seriously enough. But it is about movement and it's not about stagnation. So keep it moving. Keep that self-expression and creativity flowing. Okay? So that's all about self-expression and flow. And especially if you've been blocked. Other people say, no, I don't want to hear that, or blah, 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 and it shuts you down. You need to find a means, a way, whether it's journaling, painting, whatever craft or hobby you might be into. It could be athletics, could be cooking. You need to find an outlet that is uniquely your own, where you are not conforming and you are expressing yourself authentically. All right? Now we're going to move to the extra bonus card of watermelon, which is all about responsibility and empathy. This is such a neat deck. Okay, and this is what they have to say about that. Could there possibly be a juicier, more delicious, more thirst-quenching fruit on earth than watermelon? I love, personally, ice-cold watermelon. But originally, I'm from Missouri, and that's part of my summertime memory. And I've always loved watermelon. In fact, the beautiful pink tint is one of my favorite colors. But I like all colors, so. But it's so beautiful. As humble and accessible as the melon is, it sure does taste like a food of the gods. And yet, for over a century, a large percentage of Americans have mocked and belittled have been mocked and belittled for enjoying it. I don't know of anybody being mocked or belittled for enjoying it. Most people I know enjoy it, unless you're talking about somebody being rude. And in that case, don't pay that any mind because it's not worth it. There's a nasty, oh, here we go, yeah. There is a nasty and persistent stereotype of African Americans being overly fond of watermelon. And after enslaved people won their emancipation following the Civil War, many free black people grew, consumed, enjoyed, and sold watermelons for other people to enjoy. And this inadvertently made this fruit a symbol of their freedom. Racist whites reacted by making the fruit a symbol of their perceived childishness, laziness, poverty, which is so wrong. I mean, these people were worked literally to death. So there's nothing lazy about that. I think that's a projection of white racists. If you draw the watermelon card, consider ways that you are using your creativity and resources to make it rain for yourself and family. Seek ways to deepen your empathy for others by observing the ways that other people use the blessings in their lives and to better the world. So once again, this is about responsibility and empathy. And this is about using creativity and resources. It kind of goes with that Spanish moss of self-expression and flow to deepen your empathy for other people and the creativity and resources to help yourself and your family Like I was saying, if you have a craft or a hobby, no matter what it is, that you can sell or share with the world, maybe you make a great spaghetti bolognese and share it with your family, whatever it is that you do that your family enjoys, and that can potentially also add resources. Go for it. And this is about enjoying something that is good for you and something that shares that goodness with the world and imparts something positive to other people. So, again, remember to also seek ways to deepen empathy. And you can do that by observing the ways that people use the blessings that they have in their life. They take something that they have available to them. Make use of what you have, even if it's not a lot, and see how you can share that with the world in a way that benefits others. You know, maybe maybe you have a lot of extra clothes that you need to donate. Um, maybe you can help out at a food pantry. There's all kinds of things. But I think it's also about community. I think it's about being more open minded. And when you mix that with that Spanish moss, it's about being flexible, not being rigid, not projecting your own, frankly, ignorance or assumptions about other people. This is about broadening your horizons and not being afraid of what you do not know and others whose ways might seem strange to you. You might just find that there can be misunderstandings. And I believe you might be surprised by how much what something small that you may have to share, how it can really impact and help other people. And consider sharing that skill, that trait, even if it's just a smile with the rest of the world as you're passing someone by, holding the door open. Somebody drops something, picking it up and handing it back to them. These kinds of things. All right, on to the next card. So here, if you chose the glass cat, the glass black cat bead. So pretty. Oh, look, it's on the back as well. All right. You have drawn the card of white pine, which is all about longevity and bright future. Okay. So what they have written down for white pine. The southern mountains of Appalachia have the most and tallest pine trees in the world. One very notable tree is a fellow known as, oh boy, the Boogerman pine. Yes, that's right. Boogerman. The Boogerman pine. What the heck? Why would, that's not gross. Ugh. Anyway, the Boogerman pine in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So this is a very notable pine tree there. And it's at 190 feet tall. It is the tallest tree known in North America east of the Rockies. Now, evergreen trees are often used as symbols for longevity and immortality. because of their ability to stay green and strong during the cold winter months when, even though as a deciduous trees growing around them drop their leaves and give way to seasonal hibernation, the pine still remains green. And the other thing that just came to me as I was reading it is we really need to understand that we as humans, it's not our natural state. Our natural state is spiritual and eternal. This is this this life in this meat suit literally is just a slice of an experience. It is not our be all end all. It is never going to be meant to be the primary existence for us, but it is a means of expression and only one of many in the universe and beyond. It's unique to planet Earth and what you can experience here. But we are eternal beings. So this longevity card speaks to your true nature, which is as a spiritual being that never dies, just changes form. So pine trees are also seen as beautiful symbols for a bright future, especially for couples, because of the way their needles grow in pairs. Its fragrant resin is highly prized and often used for sensing, which is also known as smudging, to bless spaces and to invoke the eternal. So when you want to call in the eternal presence and you really want to meditate on with your true power, your true nature, which is eternal energy, maybe using a little pine smudge or pine boughs might be a good way to kind of help you get in that frame of mind and energetically realign back with that, and not just as a human being. The white pine card also signifies a long life ahead and predicts things will go well for you on your journey. So even if there are challenges, things will work out in the end. Your soul still has quite a bit left to achieve in this time on earth. And you will need to be strong, like I said, because you'll have challenges. It doesn't mean it's just going to be easy peasy. It just means that things will end up going well for you. But you'll need to be strong and tenacious in order to fill it. That means you have to be persistent and you have to make mistakes and you have to get back up and keep at it. And doors will open. You'll get good results if you have the right attitude and if you don't fall into, self, doubt, and give yourself the benefit of the doubt. And remember that you're more than just a human being. This is just an experience that you're putting into your spiritual, book of skills and experiences. All right. So it's all about longevity and a bright future, one that is worth the effort. And the only way, one of the reasons that we learn is by experiencing things that don't always go right. So that when things do go right, we recognize it and we kind of level up. So it's not a bad thing to make mistakes. They're part of our evolving. And once again, this card indicates there's a bright future ahead of you. That means there's good things ahead of you. And it's worth the effort and it's worth the time. Okay? All right. And that was once again for the iridescent BlackCat bead. If you chose the key, which is one of my favorite symbols for some reason. I know it means like wisdom, the mechanism that opens greater possibilities. It's just cool to me. Okay, what did you get? Ah, you get the sugar maple. I remember these little helicopters, we called them, where I came from in Northwest Missouri, which St. Joseph. My dad still lives there with his wife, my stepmom. And I remember these as a kid. Okay, so this card indicates information and knowledge. How appropriate, not joking, for the key, which is connected to wisdom and knowledge and information. That's crazy. I love those little synchronicities. I love this little key. Anyway, let me get to you what they want to share with you about the key. Sorry, my voice is sounding a little rough. Okay, the sugar maple. The native sugar maple, make sure I'm kind of still there, with its broad, 5-lobed leaves serves as a majestic shade tree. Sugar maple is a deciduous, I can never say that right, tree that may grow as high as 70 feet tall. That's pretty darn tall. With gorgeous fall colors in its leaves that seem to light with a fiery color once the weather starts to cool. This tree is a beautiful symbol of sharing knowledge because of how it disperses seeds. Have you ever, oh, here we go. Have you ever heard of samara fruit? I haven't. But this is the scientific term for helicopter seeds. These papery pods spin playfully, they spiral to the ground, making for good toys and snacks. It's true, as a child, I remember playing with them and just having a great old time. I didn't know you could eat it, though. It does say snacks. The sugar maple seed is surrounded by a beautiful wing that, when the wind blows, carries the seed with efficiency and grace. The sugar maple card encourages you to tap into the subconscious wisdom of your dreams. Get a journal, get a cheap notebook, whatever, paper and pen, keep it by your bedside table or drawer, and when you have a dream, write it down. Now, sometimes you won't always remember everything, but this might be a good way to start processing in the mind how you can remember more of your dreams. I recommend that. So it's about that subconscious wisdom that typically comes through dreams and perhaps a very relaxed state. Like when you're just starting to nod off to sleep, sometimes like words will come to me. I'll, hear music, I'll hear certain conversations. It's kind of strange, but interesting. Other times it might be when you're like in the shower or when you're exercising and where you're kind of actively alert but relaxed, that kind of relaxed, focused shift of consciousness. That's how you can access the subconscious wisdom that, yes, you definitely have. And it's one that isn't being constrained and censored by your active mind. So, perhaps things seem beyond your control, but in truth, you may be at a moment of change. Imagine the spirits showering you with words of wisdom, spiraling to you from a higher plane. Knowledge is power, and you are on the cusp of a great new phase of learning. Okay, that means that when one door closes, another opens, that there's going to be a lot of endings and new beginnings right now for you. And typically when this happens, you might even see it like in my life, like where we just got to replace our water heater for $4,000. But it did uh, get fixed, and it did last us a very long time. But it needed to be changed. It was due for a change. So, kind of similarly, when you notice that things are breaking down and ending, it's so that there can be a better beginning that's fresh and ready, that can open up for you. So that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for listening.